Hello, lovely people of the internet. 'Tis I, Ophelia, aka Savage Minnow, aka Red Person, at least for this weekend, the rest of this weekend. Um, I am not here today with my mom because we got like some family emergency stuff going on. Oh, I just realized that I don't have the banner behind. Let me fix that really quick. Sorry, I am a little off this morning, as y'all can probably tell. Um, because yeah, my nana is in the hospital, and it's not really looking great for her. So yeah, not fun, but we are dealing. Um, and unfortunately, with COVID restrictions right now, there's only one visitor allowed in the hospital at a time. Actually per day. So I was able to get in and visit her last night while she was in the ER. Um, and actually, the ER here has less restrictions. They still haven't admitted her to the hospital because they don't have any beds available right now. But she doesn't have COVID. She's just 85 years old, and I think it's kidney failure and some other stuff. So yeah, yeah, it's definitely made of suck. And I'm definitely glad that I was able to go in and visit her. And she definitely was like with it enough at the time to like recognize me. And we kind of were able to like visit and reminisce a little bit. And I think I even maybe made her laugh at one point, which is maybe nice. I don't know. Um, but yeah, we're probably going to be dealing with all of that this coming week. So I think probably actually my non sequitur um, series is going to have to get pushed back a week, unfortunately. I just don't think I'm probably going to have the headspace for it to get it all out next week. But I am going to just go ahead and do another week of Jimmy reaction videos. I think I can like block the amount of effort that it takes for that. I can kind of like block it and set it aside and not it's a different type of like mental energy than trying to organize a whole like outline and explaining all of the rundown with non sequitur show. So um not to say that like people who like just do reaction videos and stuff that it's like easy. It's just it's a different part of my brain that I think I'm gonna probably be able to compartmentalize a little bit easier um, this coming week. So, um, and then still, I think probably just work on outlines in the background. Um, if I have time, I'm going to be taking some time off of work and stuff. So, uh, yeah, that's what's up with that. Um, thank you, Portnatius. Yeah, I'm we're we're getting through. We're getting through. So, yeah. Um, this actually, weirdly enough, kind of helps just kind of to distract me a little bit. But then at the same time, like if I do seem a little bit distracted and not completely here, like that's why, you know. So today we are going to be reacting to is actually a viewer's suggestion of reacting to Lori Alexander, the transformed wife, and I think it was just yesterday or earlier this week. And just yesterday, I sat down. I was like, "Well, what's she up to, Miss Lori Alexander?" And I noticed that the title of her new video, I believe, is the title of a blog post that she had before, if not a previous video. But it is indeed titled "Men Prefer Debt-Free Virgins Without Tattoos," which I just think is hilarious. I just like how is she's going to tell us what men prefer and of course it's going to be like what what she was when she got married or whatever. So um, I think it's going to be a fun one to react to. Pornacia says the spicy hell pot that is transformed wife. Yes, exactly. She is a sassy one. She, I do think that she has an interesting take on a lot of stuff. Not a good take necessarily, but an interesting one. So, oh, and thank you for the follow. Lunar was here while I was getting ready and stuff for the stream. Um, yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Oh, I do need to mention don't bully or harass anybody mentioned in this live stream or anybody in the chat or the comments. Those are real quick ways to get yourself banned. Um, I don't think that we're talking about anything that needs expert advice today, but I'm not really an expert on anything. I'm just a person with an opinion. And as such, thoughts, feelings, and opinions expressed on this channel are solely my own thoughts, feelings, and opinions. We're not talking facts here, guys. We're just having fun. Um, Pugnacious says husband is safely out of the room for this. He grew up on this chick and the pearls and all of that grossness. Yes. I have seen, if you guys haven't seen Fundy Fridays, oh my gosh, I love her video on the pearls. I sometimes just sit with like her stuff in the background and just like absorb it all because you need to like listen to it 2 or 3 times. Or like take notes. I'm also a person who takes notes. This is a quick one for Lori. I don't know if it would be an issue, but under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, sorry, allowance is made for fair use purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might be otherwise infringing. All right. And sorry, this window. Love Fundy Fridays. I love me some Fundy Fridays too. They're, if you haven't seen them, they're an adorable couple. I think it's actually her channel, but she has her boyfriend on all the time, and she just talks about different fundamentalist groups while she does her makeup. Sometimes she doesn't always do her makeup, but oftentimes her boyfriend does these like hilarious voiceovers and stuff too, and it's just like they're adorable. They're absolutely adorable. Check them out. Rachel Oates also reviewed the Pearls book on how to train up a child. Yeah. So you didn't have to read it. Yes. Yes. Also another great channel to check out. If you're subscribed to me and you're not subscribed to Rachel Oates, I don't know what you're doing here, but go subscribe to Rachel. Also, if you are not subscribed to the Lavender Lady, Diana Clarion, please do go over there and subscribe to her. She is amazing. I'm going to drop her info in the Twitch chat. And she also has a GoFundMe going right now. She also has some kidney stuff going on, but she is having issues paying for her copays and stuff. So if anybody wants to help out, it would be much, much, much appreciated. But I just wanted to drop that information there. Luckily, my family is in a place where copays are not an issue right now. But Diana is not so fortunate. So if you do want to help out, please do help out Diana. She is a lovely lady. You know what you're watching later. Awesome. Yeah, she's an amazing lady.
My name's Lori Alexander, and about 5 years ago, I think it was 5 years ago, I should have checked, but I don't have any Wi-Fi or cell service in this.
She's so quiet.
And I just decided to make this on the spur of the moment. So I think it was 5 years ago, last July,
Okay.
I published a post called Men Prefer Debt-Free Virgins Without Tattoos.
Yes, she did.
I knew it was a catchy title, and I'd had it in my blog for.
I don't know about catchy. I think she knew that it was going to tick some people off, and it did.
A while before I published it, kind of working on it, figuring it out. Do I want to publish this? Do I not? But I had no clue
You should
that
have
it would
said
take
no.
off like it did. As soon I was outside on my deck trying to find cell service to publish it, And
Oh, so
as
she
soon
was
as I
happy
published
that
it,
it took off.
it got hit. It was slammed. And the women, about an hour later, a woman in the chat room shared when the first, I don't know if it was the first write up out of hundreds.
We'll see if
by
she
a woman
regrets it.
named Felicia something, starts with an H, her last name. And she just blasted my article. And Lindsay, one of the administrators of the group, shared it and said, it's like she didn't even read it. And then another one.
Oh, what? Like, how did she blast it without reading it? Because I haven't seen this assessment, but like, tell us how. Tell us more.
Another famous marriage blogger's daughter ranted and raved. She did a YouTube video on my post and said, crying, I just read the most horrible thing I've ever read in my life. It's like,
I love that she's like laughing about another person crying. She has like zero empathy whatsoever.
are you kidding me? With all the filth that's going on in our culture, this is the most horrible thing she's ever read in her life.
Define filth. What is the filth?
And before I published that post, I didn't take surveys or even researched if
I haven't read the article because like I've heard it talked about. Jimmy did a video about it. Just like the concept of like men prefer debt-free virgins without tattoos is like so gross to me. But if you want, at the end of this, I'll read it.
men prefer debt-free virgins without tattoos, but I use common sense. Why?
How do you know that men prefer debt-free virgins without tattoos?
Why would men want a wife who had loads of debt and to bear?
Maybe it's not an issue to them if their spouse has some debt. Also, you said debt-free. You didn't say like someone who doesn't have loads of debt. Like, yeah, if they have like an insane amount of debt, or like maybe they need to like declare bankruptcy, get all that shit dealt with before marriage is a thing. Also, maybe marriage isn't like a thing that they're looking for and it really doesn't matter.
Bear that burden. And I know a lot of men take that on, and it's hard. God calls debt bondage, and he tells us to owe no man anything. So it's much better. I think men much prefer to marry a woman that doesn't have debt.
Again, we're assuming that men, A, prefer women, and B, want to get married.
Sense. And then a virgin, why do you think Muslims are willing to sacrifice their own lives to get 40 or however many virgins?
Because of fucked up religious bullshit.
It's common knowledge that men want virgins. To me,
It doesn't seem like common knowledge to me. I've talked to plenty of guys who are like, they're not into like being with somebody who's inexperienced. Like they want someone who has experience in the bedroom because they don't feel like teaching. I think somebody said that the other day in the chat. Like virginity isn't necessarily important to people. Back in the day when like the Bible was written and shit, like a virgin was pretty much the only way to like guarantee that like this person was free of venereal disease. But like, wow, like we live in a world where you can test for STDs and shit like that. So not a big deal.
marry, and even I guess to sleep with, I don't know. I don't research that kind of stuff. But they want to know that.
I'm gonna read the comments here real quick. Non-cis white Christian family values is filth. Yeah, exactly. Anything that's doesn't fit into her idea of quote unquote family values is filth. Ignatius also says my dad had lots of debt because his ex-wife ran up credit cards and your mom helped him lower it. Exactly. Like it's not always like women who are racking up the debt. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's men, sometimes it doesn't. It's a case by case scenario. And your mom's got tats. Yeah. Both me and wifey had tats before we got married. Wifey had debt. We dealt with it. It's not. Now, I don't think that she would consider, for those of you, if you're new here, um, my wife is a different type of transformed wife. She is a trans woman, and I don't think that Lori would necessarily consider her a woman. I think she's kind of said stuff in the past, basically non-trans affirming things in the past. So yeah. So really, nobody in my family is the ideal audience for this advice. To be fair, got to be fair coming into this.
A woman that they marry, when she's having a baby, it's going to be her baby. They want to know that their wives are going to be faithful to them.
What does that have to do with being a virgin? Someone being faithful, like, doesn't have to do necessarily with their virginity. Like, what? Also, again, there are such things as open relationships. She says this like it's just like, oh, in general, across the board, men prefer debt-free virgins without tattoos. And she's like forgetting that there are like all these other people in the world that exist.
And it's a lot easier to be faithful to one's husband if one was a virgin before marriage. And God commands older women to teach women to be chaste. So I'm commanded to teach women to not be sexually promiscuous at all before marriage.
Oh, she's commanded to tell us. She's commanded to tell us. That's why she's doing it. Okay. But I thought that like also you shouldn't judge lest you be judged. Like,
and so this
what happened
is
to
what I
that?
do, and that's what I was doing.
This is what I do.
And then with
And this is what I do, Lori. I react to this shit and kind of poke fun at it. This is what I do.
Free virgins without tattoos. I wasn't, I didn't research that either, but after I read
she didn't research any of this. She just pulled it all out of her ass.
It went so viral and all over the world.
I gotta say, this woman is much younger than my Nana, and she wants to like talk about like traditional values and shit. Like, again, sorry, like my Nana's on my mind, but like this woman is obviously younger than my Nana. I would say she's between my mom and my Nana's age. And like, my Nana is so much more forward thinking than this woman. Like, why is she like so stuck in the past? Because people say, oh, well, it's her age and this, that, and the other. But like, I'm sorry, my Nana's 85 years old. Like, when we told her about like my wife transitioning, she was just like, she took a little bit to like wrap her head around it and like understand that like even referring to like my wife when she was a kid, we're still going to use like she, her pronouns, like that sort of thing. But like it just like took her a little while, and then she figured it out and it was fine. It wasn't like a whole like, oh my God, she's an old lady, she'll like never understand it. Pugnacia says her eyes get really wide when she says to be chaste. To be chaste. Look how like content she is with herself too. Like, oh, she's just like, I just want to like, I want to ask her what her kids think and if she has grandkids, like how she will feel if like one of her grandkids comes out or, something like that. Like, but I just, sorry. I'm in a mood today. I'm in a mood.
Was talking about it. I did research it, and men do prefer those things. The majority of men do not like tattoos on women. They get gray.
Wait, did you research it or didn't you research it? Because I feel like just a minute ago you told us that you didn't research it.
With debt-free virgins without tattoos. I wasn't, I didn't research that either, but after I read it went so viral and all over the world. Everyone was talking about it. I did research it, and
oh, okay. So she didn't research it when she first wrote the article, but then after it went viral all around the world, then she did research it.
Men do prefer those things. The majority of men do not like tattoos on women. They get gray with age and wrinkled skin. They just like.
You're missing the point of why it went viral. Do you not get that you're like missing the point? I do not have tattoos for to make a man love me, to make a man happy. Okay. Even if we're like strictly, say we're gonna like strictly restrict my dating pool to men because I'm pansexual. But let's say I'm only gonna date men in this universe. I still am not getting tattoos for to attract a man. Like that's not why somebody gets a tattoo ever. Have you like ever seen somebody be like, "Oh, I got this tattoo so that guys think it's sexy?" Like, "Oh, so that like men want to marry me?" Like, no. People get tattoos because they like tattoos and they want to decorate their body with tattoos. They don't do it for their mate, they do it for themselves. This is like across human history, okay? Even when we're going back to like the tribal people, right? The reason why people get tattoos is because they are going through a rite of passage or they were going through something or they wanted to get their tattoos, right? It's not like about like attracting a mate in most cases. I'm sure somebody's gonna like find some, an example that is contradictory to that, and please do feel free to drop it down in the chat in the comments, and I would love to hear about that and like learn about it. But I'm just saying overall, my understanding is that like people don't get tattoos for their mate; they get tattoos for themselves. The majority of men, whom did you poll to the church? Yeah, exactly. Who is the majority of what men? Did you poll every man on the planet and ask every man on the planet? What about the John 3:16 tattoos or whatever I always see on Christians? She probably doesn't like those either. She probably doesn't. My brother is a Christian and has his the day that he became a father tattooed on his body. And I think that she probably would disapprove of those too. He and his wife actually have like matching tattoos of like the day that they became parents. It's and it's in like Roman numerals and stuff. And yeah, she would probably say that those are bad too. Tattoos are bad. Okay. All of them. All bad. And men just don't like it. Men don't like it. Don't do it because the men don't like it. And that's the only reason not to do it, is because the men don't like it. But that's a good enough reason. That reason is law. If the men don't like it, we don't do it. End of. Okay, sorry. Again, I'm in a weird mood today. I'm just like, yeah.
The way God created us, the flesh that He created us in. And
Wait, it looks to me though like you've maybe had some dental work done. That's not like how God created your teeth though. What about if people like have bad vision? Should I not wear glasses because like God created me with bad eyesight? So should I just like not wear glasses? I'm assuming like nail polish is like banned, right? Um, which it's chipping anyway, so whatever. But I again I can see she doesn't have like the most HD camera, but let me see if I can show you guys this. Um, You can see that she's wearing makeup, right? Can you guys see that? She's wearing like eyeliner and like mascara. Did God, or are you born with it? It's not Maybelline. You're just born with it. um, she's wearing conservative makeup. Yeah, I just, obviously she cut her bangs at some point. That was making edits to God's creation there. You should just let your hair grow all the way down. Never cut it, right? Right?
and So I had to try to figure out a way to make to justify that all of these positions biblically afterwards, since it got so.
You had to find a way to justify it. Let's back that up.
And so I had to try to figure out a way to make to justify that all of these positions biblically afterwards, since it got so huge,
So I just like pulled this shit out of my ass, and then I went cherry picking in the Bible for shit to back it up after I had pulled it all out of my ass, and people called me on it. It's not really makeup, it's just enhancing what God gave us. Exactly, Porgnatius.
And so many Christians just wailed on me for posting that. And I still don't understand that to this day.
You still don't understand how just pulling shit out of your ass and then cherry picking bullshit from the Bible to back up the shit that you pulled out of your ass after you got called on it is like why people want to call you on that?
Because debt is bondage. We are to teach women to be chaste before marriage, because that's God's will for us, and it's his perfect will, and it protects women in so many ways. There wouldn't be the abortion, the STDs, the broken hearts. I think it even leads to divorce.
You think that it leads to divorce, but have you like looked at statistics on that? Like, have you actually looked at statistics on that? Because I feel like there aren't like statistics to back that up, right? I don't know. I'm not going to claim to know because I don't. Be chaste. Yes, I saw it. After you said it, Porgnatius, I can't not see it. Like, whatever. She's just like, chaste. She's the meme of that guy with the stickies on the wall and the strings everywhere for the conspiracies. Exactly. She just pulled it out of her butt and then she's like, okay, we're going to make this make sense. But you didn't actually make it make sense. You just made it make sense in like your crazy brain.
Divorce mentality. And then the tattoos, once you get it.
I think that like that might actually like overall lead to like a better relationship if like you do have sex before marriage because like you know what you're freaking getting into, right? I don't know. I'm not going to say that I know because I don't.
You have them for life, and I think a lot of young women, that's the thing now, so they get the tattoos, and most people do regret them as they get older.
Okay, I will say that like most of the people I know with like a ton of tattoos have like one or two regret issues with a tattoo or more than one tattoo, but it's not like they overall just are like, oh my God, yeah, I wish I would have never gotten a tattoo. It's usually like, oh yeah, I wish that I would have done this a little bit different, or I wish, because the vision that you have in your brain is never exactly like the tattoo artist can never like get inside your head and see your vision. So there's always going to be like a little bit of like a difference between what you imagine and what the tattoo artist does, and then, you know, how it changes over time, et cetera, et cetera. So like, yes, there are like people who have like tattoo regrets, but not like, oh, I just wish I would have never gotten tattooed. I have a stupid tattoo. Do you guys want to see my stupid tattoo really quick? I would hold it closer to the camera so that you could see it better, but it doesn't actually get better. Okay. It's just a stupid tattoo. It looks like Coco Pelli and a Dorito chip. And you know what? We're just going to go with Coco Pelli and a Dorito chip. Okay. It's a stupid tattoo, but you know what? I don't regret getting tattoos. Okay. I regret getting drunk and letting my ex-boyfriend tattoo me at my dining room table. Okay. That's what I regret. I don't just generally regret tattoos. It's a terrible tattoo. All right, back to Lori.
And so I didn't understand the outrage. I understood the outrage from unbelievers. and why that would offend them. But I didn't understand the outrage from Christians. And
I feel like my like sister-in-law would be outraged by this, and she's Christian. Like, oh,
I know a
I know
lot of
several
women were saying,
Christians who would be outraged by
women
this.
who have slept around, that doesn't mean that they don't deserve to not get married. I didn't say that.
She didn't. She just said that like you don't deserve a good husband, basically.
I said men prefer. And this is what God commands too, that you remain a virgin before marriage. But if you did not, which very few women are being taught to remain chaste until marriage.
Now, how much do you bet that like that chaste until marriage? How much do you want to bet that like she is like bitterly jealous of those women who like snap up a like what are they called? Like what's a mensch, but like not a Jewish mensch, a different like a Christian mensch, right? When they like snap up a mensch, like she's like that B word because she can't say bitch. Like in her head, she's like that B word. How did she snap him up? She must be a and then like it's because they're like evil or whatever, right? I don't know. That's just my thought in my head, that she seems like one of those where she's like, how dare she get a dude?
And so they sleep around. It's even in the church, it's rampant. So then
even in the
if
church,
they
it's
become strong
rampant.
believers in Jesus Christ, repent,
Rampant.
become new creatures in Christ, walk in newness of life, and are transformed. Often they still have scars. Oftentimes sleeping around before marriage.
And she's a woman, so she can't preach to men, but like men already know that that's not what they prefer. So she doesn't need to tell them like men don't go for that. She's not saying don't go for that. She's just saying like they already know.
Women have abortions, they get STDs, and that's why God tells us to
also like there's nothing wrong with getting an abortion if like you're in a situation where you like need to get an abortion, like that's okay. STDs, most STDs are like curable with just like a jab in the ass. So like it's not the end of the world. Like yeah, like you don't want either of these things, but like it's not the end of the world. Even HIV now there are medications for that, especially if it's caught early, where you can like live a long and fulfilling life. Like it's not a death sentence like it used to be. So her acting like, oh, abortions and STDs is like the end of your life. Like it's not. It's okay, and it's something you have to deal with. But it's not the end of the world.
Flee the youthful desires of lust, of youthful
Flee the
desires
youthful.
of lust. I can't remember exactly, but it goes something like that. He tells us to flee that, and he also tells us to flee fornication, because he knows the sins that we commit in our youth
Until you get
can
married,
harm us for life,
and then like
leaving
bone
scars.
all the
We're
time.
forgiven. Yeah, we're made new creatures in Christ. Everything.
Okay, like you're forgiven in Christ or whatever, but like you're still gonna need like years of therapy. Just saying, okay? Just saying that you're like forgiven in Christ or whatever doesn't mean that like you're not gonna like carry years of like guilt and crap that's like related to, premarital sex shame. Okay? Because that's what it is. It's shame. I feel like guilt is like a thing that you can deal with, but shame is like it like clings to you. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm explaining that well, but like it is hard to shed shame. Guilt, you can like repent, you can make up for guilt, but like what she is talking about is shame.
Single sin we've ever committed or will commit is forgiven the moment we believe.
Flee fornication.
But it still doesn't mean that older women like me aren't supposed to warn women about fornication and to teach them to be chaste and sexually pure before marriage. And I want to do that, and I will continue to do that. I wrote a post the other day on my Facebook page and said, 2 things I learned from posting this post. You must not teach women to be sexually before marriage, because it completely offends those women who weren't sexually pure before marriage.
Um, like, again, that's not why. It's because all of those like literal like 2,000-year-old reasons for not wanting somebody who has had sex before, which are just reasons for men, by the way, not like reasons for women, because it's a book that was written by men for men and like completely disregarded women's feelings, whatever. Those reasons from 2,000 years ago don't hold up.
And I was just saying this sarcastically, and women say, you believe that? It's like, are you kidding me? I still teach it all the time. And I also learned that you can't teach women what men prefer.
Again, like, you can teach whatever you want, but like, you're wrong. Like, people are allowed to respond and tell you that you're wrong.
Because that greatly offends women. Well, you know what? I'm not in the business of catering to women's emotions.
Oh,
And
okay.
I don't worry about offending them. If you're not offending women who teach truth, you must not be teaching truth, because truth will always offend.
Wait, if you're not offending women who teach truth.
Of catering to women's emotions, and I don't worry about offending them. If you're not offending women who teach truth, you must not be teaching truth, because
If you're not offending women who are teaching truth, you must not be teaching truth. Did she like, I don't understand. I'm not like, I'm not getting this. Did she like say something by mistake? Because she said it with like such like force behind it that like it seemed like she was like, okay, let me just like check this and make sure that I'm saying it right. But like, if she did say that right, it's basically she's admitting to like the no true Scotsman fallacy, which is, it's the like, there's no true Christian, like, right? Because every Christian is going to be like, oh, they're not a real Christian. And then they're going to say, oh, no, well, they're not a real Christian. And, nobody's a real Christian according to everyone, basically. There's always going to be somebody who says, no, they're not a real Christian. Is that, is she admitting to that?
because truth will always offend. Jesus Christ, as he walked this earth, offended many people. John the Baptist, Paul's writings, the apostles, they all offended people. Truth will always offend people, because we live in a wicked, wicked generation who hates God, who hates truth.
So she's admitting that it's, somebody called it the no true Christian fallacy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's basically admitting to it. It's what it sounds like.
Truth needs to be said. People need to hear truth, because it's
But at this point, when you're saying, oh, well, people are going to disagree with it no matter like what, like you're basically like diluting the meaning of truth at this point. Like truth, the word truth has no meaning at this point. And this is one of like the big issues that I have with like Christianity and religion as a whole. And I've talked about it a little bit before, but this was really like my problem as a kid, right? I had one parent who was a Christian. My dad is a Christian. He's still a Christian to this day. Okay. My dad really wanted me to go to church. And I remember as a very small child being taught that like, we know God is real, right? And I was one of those kids who was just like an inquisitive person. And luckily when I was like in like second and third grade, they had like this like interim pastor, and he was like really good about just like letting me like have a bunch of questions and just answering my questions and just being like, yeah, bring them on, kid. And he really did his best to be like explaining that like we, believe in God, and like we trust in that belief, and that is how we know, and this, that, and the other. And I remember just like going home as a kid and being like, well, then I don't understand like what the difference in like knowing something and thinking something is. Like, what's the difference between like knowing and believing? And I couldn't understand like how could we know that God is real and still know that there's a difference between like trusting and believing and knowing for sure. And that was a problem that I still have not been able to like get over with religion. It's just like I feel like it teaches kids like not to understand the definition of to know something by like provable fact. And it's frustrating to me. Porgnacia says Lori didn't start off proper by defining what truth means to her. Yeah. I feel like there's not a good Christian explanation of what truth is, in my opinion.
What changes people. It's what transforms them. It's what saves them when they repent and ask for forgiveness.
What is?
So no generation who hates God, who hates truth. But truth needs to be said. People need to hear
truth. Is.
It's what changes people. It's what transforms
but
them.
Yeah.
It's what saves
we don't
them
know
when
what
they
this
repent
we don't
and
know
ask
what
for
this truth
forgiveness.
is.
So no, I don't regret publishing that post one bit, because if I did, I would have taken it down. My husband was...
See, and I feel like this is why she is like making these things, is because again, through her entire life, she has never understood the difference between knowing and believing. So she has said, okay, like I'm going to like pray on this and like ask about this. And so like she has like gotten revelation from God that she believes this. And now she's told herself that she knows this. And that's why she's going to pass it along as fact, is because she knows this. No, you don't know this information. You believe it.
A real surprise when I told him, went upstairs and told him, you wouldn't believe what's happening. Like when I heard him,
you wouldn't believe what's happening.
Post, he was like, oh no, because he knew that would probably deeply offend women. But a lot of women.
But do you know what's happening?
It. A lot of men loved it. All throughout these 5 years, people have told me that they found me through that post because people were ridiculing it. And I don't care when people ridicule my posts, because what they intend for evil, God uses for good. A lot of people have...
But I think that like they probably grew their own audiences probably a lot more than you did, Lori. I'm just saying. Also, a lot of, I feel like the light that has been shed on you has been about like, hey, here's an example of like what these different groups are spreading this message. And it's been like the type of thing where we could, point to it and point it out and say, hey, this type of thinking is wrong. So you might think that it's like helping your cause, but really in reality, I think that it is helping the rest of the world like see it and like put it on blast and realize that like that shit is out there and that shit is wrong. And like the people who are identifying with that are putting themselves on blast also. Yeah, that's just my thoughts and feels on that.
I've found my post through people ridiculing it. And that's okay with me. That doesn't bother me. As long as they find truth.
Good.
My job isn't to not offend women. It's not to kid.
Now, how do you feel about the people who find your post and say, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous? And then they talk to their friends about it, and their friends maybe have like similar beliefs, and they explain to their friends like why that's wrong. And they use that as like a jumping off place to like kind of bring their friends out of that type of thinking. How do you feel about that? Because I have literally seen that happen in my life. Not going to give you names or anything, but
the truth, and
literally an example from my life.
I don't even know how to speak truth and hate. I only do it out of love because
somebody who was like, oh yeah, well, I mean, I kind of think that like I agree with what she's saying a little bit here and there. And I was like, I think that you're not like understanding the nuance here. So like, let me explain the nuance. And once I explained the nuance, they were like, oh, you're right. That is like really fucking harmful. You're right.
I love women. And
how do you feel about that?
Are best. I know they sound harsh. I know.
And those were men.
People will say that I'm blunt. But I never attack people personally unless they're false teachers. Then I call out what they're teaching them.
I agree with her on that. And again, like I gotta like give credit where credit is due. And you've heard me say this before. I do not attack people as people. Okay. Like again, I have said her eyes are so big. Sorry. Oh my gosh, that didn't make it better. Okay. Now she just looks kind of like a grandma, like a silly grandma there. I actually agree with her on this, that like she has absolutely every right to say whatever it is that she wants to say, whatever it is that she wants to teach, and I would never attack her as a person. She has every right to exist on whatever platform it is that she's on. So long as she like literally like has that, like, you know, some platforms are restricted and that sort of thing. But and she has absolutely every right to like have the beliefs that she has. I would not attack her as a person or say that like she's stupid for having those beliefs or anything like that. But I am gonna like say that like in a lot of cases they're stupid beliefs. Okay. I'm not afraid to attack her beliefs, but I don't feel like it is fair to attack people on a personal level. I agree with her on this.
Out of love, because I love women and I know God's ways are best.
I love women and men and everyone else. I love people of all genders.
I know they sound harsh. I know they sound, and people will say that I'm blunt, but
Yep.
I never attack people personally, unless they're false teachers. Then I
never attack people personally unless I don't agree with them.
call out what they're teaching that is false. I don't even attack them personally, their looks or anything.
I don't think she does. I agree with her.
False.
Well, besides the whole like tattoos thing, but I haven't seen it. I haven't personally seen her attacking people for their looks. Feel free to like give me examples in the comments and stuff. Again, always feel free to correct me in the comments. If you're doing so nicely and or at least just not like being an a-hole about it, then I'll read them and I will appreciate the feedback.
Teachers and avoid them, and I want women to stop being led astray by all these false female preachers who are teaching just garbage.
Again, like no true Scotsman fallacy. Like they're supposedly learning what they learned from like their church. So like how is their truth not as good as your truth?
So anyway, women, I just thought I'd get on here and give you a little background on
should I show this to my wife?
That post and my thoughts on it today.
I'm not showing this to my wife.
What I've learned from it is that I'm just going to continue to speak truth, even if it offends women.
It's not truth,
and
though.
I will always continue to offend women because truth will always offend. But I receive...
I do agree that, like, truth will often offend. I don't know about, like, always offend. Like, you know, like babies are cute. I don't think, like, I guess there's probably someone in the world who's, like, offended by hearing someone say babies are cute. I don't know. I was trying to think of, like, the least offensive thing in the world. I guess she's not wrong, but, like, at the same time, like, you don't need to, like, seek out to be, like, pissing people off, right? You don't, like, need to seek out offensive stuff towards other people, in my opinion. It's like the Christian persecution complex, right? Like, she just, like, needs to, like, feel like she's hated, so she's gonna, like, you know what I mean? Sorry, I'm having a weird day. Back to Lori. We've only got a little bit left here. She's like a troll, exactly. She does the things to cause the rage. Yes, she specifically does the thing. We'll look at her Twitter feed sometime. Her Twitter feed is just like outrageous post after outrageous post after outrageous post. Yeah. It's frustrating because it's like she feels the need to be persecuted, and if she isn't arguing with somebody, then she like doesn't feel fulfilled. All right, what is she just got like less than a minute here. It's probably just her little end credit.
Every day of women. I just received a letter yesterday of a woman who's a doctor, and she's quit into.
Wait, that's bad, right? Because you don't want to have a career in education. That's bad, right?
2015 against her desires, but now she's home with her children.
Oh, she's a homemaker now.
Happier and more satisfied. I get letters like this every day, and that's why I continue to do what I do.
Okay, but like, what about all the women who are like not satisfied doing that? Are we just ignoring them? We're just ignoring them? We're just ignoring them. Okay.
Anyway, thanks for listening. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. That was kind of scary. That was a little bit scary. Martyr complex, exactly. You get a card when you join certain Christian sects. Okay, good to know. You get a little martyr card. And pull that one out. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she just a lovely little peach? Um, yeah. So, I never really hang out after we finish the video and just chat for a minute. So I'm gonna do that today for a minute. Porgnatius says, I regret requesting this. Not really, you did great. Well, thank you. Um, I'm glad you requested it because, like I said, I was in a weird headspace this morning, and I was just like, okay, like, what am I gonna do? I have to put up a post, and um, and then yeah, I was like, I'll just do that. I'll just do that. But like I said, I saw the video yesterday, and I was just like, did she really? She made a video about it. So yeah, um, I hope everybody's doing well and getting vaccinated if you can get vaccinated, and wearing a mask if you have to go out in public, and um, yeah, all of those things. Porgnatius says I was going to suggest something on the pearls, but I think you'd rage quit after the first video or chapter. I might, um, or I might just like need to like utilize my BRB screen every once in a while and just be like, let me just take a quick little like toke off screen kind of thing. But I'll maybe I'll check out a little bit of it and see if it seems like something that I'm going to rage on. Actually, I probably would rage on it because I remember seeing Fundy Friday's video on it, and like the video of him he has like the doll, the stuffed doll, and he's like demonstrating how to like switch a child, like hit a child with a switch. And that was kids is like a thing that really specifically bothers me. Kids and animals, like the defenseless. Hurting the defenseless is really like a thing that gets me a little bit hot under my collar pretty quickly, and it's one of the things where sometimes I will have to click off. So actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you're right, I might not be able to do um I don't actually drink, but yeah, if I did drink, that would be a good time for it. Not that I'm not a teetotaler or anything. I just get migraines. Um, Maybe I'll have wifey look at them and see if I would rage quit. That might be like, or actually, even Savage Mama might be a good one to ask. And she could tell me like, oh no, you're not gonna get through this, or like, yeah, you can probably get through it, but like be forewarned about this stuff kind of thing, because she knows how I am about stuff. But yeah, yeah, let me know what other stuff you guys want me to react to. I've had kind of fun like finding some of these videos where it's just like some of it is just so silly that I can just laugh at it. Kind of like this thing with Lori Alexander. I think I'm probably just gonna hang out with wifey a little bit today. We got some shelves set up in the basement, so I'm gonna try and get some of these boxes that are like right there off screen. I'm gonna try and get some of those moved today, and then as far as like my self-care goal for the day, I'm gonna try and get my hair washed, which you guys never see like the full length of it, but it is actually pretty long. I want to get it washed, and then hopefully I can get it cut this week, but we shall see. We shall see. We shall see. The plague has gotten pretty bad in our area, um, as attested by the fact that my nana is unfortunately there's no beds for her in the hospital, so she's actually just still in the ER right now. So, uh, which, like I said, actually worked out in my favor. Last night I was able to go in and visit her in the ER, and then today they're only allowing one visitor. So, yeah, just kind of dealing with stuff. And wifey's been really good about like taking care of me and stuff. And she drove me up there last night. Um, and Lizzie, our little pup, has been extra snuggly. I think she can tell that I'm a little bit in having a rough mood, but I've also kind of been using this as a reminder, not to like go on about my family business or anything like that, but actually, as far as my grandmother's health, a lot of her health issues are a result of basically not taking care of herself, and it's unfortunate that like it kind of snowballed into really really now affecting her health and her life. But I think it's a reminder to me to get on top of staying healthy and staying in shape. And my mantra to myself lately has been like I want to live to be 100. And there are things when it's like I I get really depressed. And you guys have heard me talk a little bit about my depression before. I don't like to go deep into it because I don't want to like trigger anybody. But like there are times when, I'm not sure if I want to be here next week or the week after. And reminding myself that I want to live to be 100 is a good kind of mantra for me to just like try and keep myself on the right path, try and keep myself making positive choices and taking care of myself. And so, yeah, it's definitely going to be life changing here in the next few weeks and stuff. But uh, I think just kind of giving myself the space to feel what I'm feeling, but also remember that like healthy choices are what's going to get me through this in a healthy manner. So yeah. All right. Well, thank you everyone so much for watching. I think I am gonna go ahead and jump off and probably just mostly sit on the couch today and be a little bit of a couch potato. But I will be on next week. Like I said, we're probably gonna be just go ahead and do a second week of Jimmy Retro Reaction Reacts. So I'm gonna try and do 5 more of those videos, and I might try and pick them out today. Today or tomorrow so that I can go ahead and get thumbnails up and that sort of thing. So if you do have suggestions on particular retro Jimmy videos that you want me to react to, please feel free to drop those in the comments or on the Discord. And I will definitely take your suggestions into account. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. If today's your birthday, I want to wish you a very happy birthday. Either way, I hope you guys make it a good one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Oh, and a special thanks before I get off of here to my monetary supporters. These are guys who have purchased merch or helped me out in some other way monetarily. These are the guys who really are the bread and butter of what keeps this channel on the air. So thank you everybody for being here as viewers, and a special thanks to the Cora St. Clair, my lovely Savage Mama, TikTok Bunny, and Peapod Fairy.